Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Mythic bringing you guys another video. And as you guys see to my right, I believe, we have Mike hopping onto the channel. We're going to get his perspective from the game that we lost to the Seattle Seahawks 30-18. Dropped us out of the NFC running, basically. Potentially, unless we went out and barring crazy circumstances. How are you feeling about the game? We're going to dissect a lot of topics, but just overall, how are you feeling about this loss?
This game just in general, disheartening. Disheartening. The Cardinals had an opportunity to stay within the NFC West race and just squandered it. I don't know anybody that's taking anything positive from this game other than probably Jonathan Gannon. But other than that, like I feel like everybody that you kind of scroll through social media everywhere, and I got a couple Cardinal buddies as well. Nobody's confident about the future of this Arizona Cardinal team this year in 2024. It feels like the season's over with 4 games left, and of course for the remaining of the years on what the Cardinals can potentially accomplish. It almost kind of feels like doom and gloom all over again. It's very unfortunate, but this Seattle Seahawks game is just a stab in the heart, and it's for multiple different reasons as to why we lost this game. But just the Cardinals can't get it done in clutch moments. It's very unfortunate, but um, it's where we are at.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough loss. It literally just catapulted us. Basically, 3 games behind Seattle. We're technically 2. They hold the tiebreaker. That is huge because even if Seattle goes, what, 1-3, and we go 3-1, and we're both sitting there at 9-7, they hold the tiebreaker. They win the NFC West. And the Rams are now on top of us as well. And I think that's what hurts the most, too,
Yeah.
is now we're third place. San Francisco, same record as us. We lose
Yeah.
this next game against the Patriots, and the 49ers win, we're last place. That would be a
Yeah.
5-game losing streak. Not a good spot to be in.
Yeah. Back
Everybody
to being
is
little brothers, man. Not a good feeling.
exactly. It's not a good feeling whatsoever. And everybody right now is on the Kyler Murray discourse once again. It is something that happens after every single loss. I gave my opinions on the channel. You guys know where I stand with it. I made a video last time. I want to get your perspective. I want a different perspective entirely. How are you feeling about Kyler Murray? Because the only thing that like drives me kind of wild about Kyler is that it feels like every big moment that we've had or we've needed him to step up, it just we haven't had that from him.
Yeah.
I still believe in him. That is a major problem though, and this is another one of those moments where we just needed one of these 3. Just one. And I feel like we had a chance to win every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I blame the coaching staff for the Vikings game because I think you should have gone for the kill. Up 3, you have a chance 5 yards away to basically end the game. You score a touchdown, that game is over. You beat Minnesota. If not, they have one timeout to drive 95 yards. That's a coaching staff blunder, but Kyler Murray against Seattle in back-to-back games hasn't really been able to do much. How are you feeling about him, his performance in this game, and just his overall future?
A performance in the this last Seattle is bad, man. It wasn't a good game. We were in the hole from the jump. Like it's so unfortunate because the first drive, it's almost kind of seems like it's a tale of what his career has been with the Arizona Cardinals. Like, oh my God, the flashes are so amazing. You're like, oh my God, this is what you want to see. We're back. But it's just all fool's gold. At the end of the day, it's all fool's gold. And I think everybody's starting to kind of, well, not everybody, but there's a lot of portion of the Cardinals fans that are starting to kind of see it. Even the people that I've known that's been defending Kyler Murray from the jump, from year one of 2019, are now starting to say, oh man, here we go, can't win the big games. But overall, I don't think Kyler Murray had a good game at all. And I know Jonathan Gannon came out and said that, he put us in a position um, to win. I mean, technically, I'm kind of correct. But at the end of the day, it almost kind of feels like, unfortunately, Kyler Murray shrinks in the big moments. I don't know. That first interception was just god awful. And in the press conference, I'm not sure if you heard it, but he said he saw Ernest Jones and he was just like, "I'll put it on me," but he doesn't want to get into the details. Just put it on me. And I get it. At the end of the day, you really don't want to talk about the mistakes because he feels like he let the team down. And honestly, I feel like he let the team down too. And in that second interception, that was a good read. That was a very good read. It's just the throw wasn't good. The throw was not good at all. And if he threw it split second quicker, it actually probably could have got converted over to Marvin Harrison Jr. So it's one of those things where, like, in the beginning of the season, I saw a lot of people kind of hating on Marvin Harrison Jr. about not being what we thought he was going to be. I understand there's definitely some flaws in his game for sure, but honestly, it's hard for me to point the finger at anybody else but your franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray. We've given him multiple chances to try to prove this fan base wrong for the people that don't believe in him, and right for the people that do believe in him, right? And I feel like we're just in a really bad situation right now because we almost kind of feel like we're stuck with him. And yeah, he's the best option that we have right now. I want to be very, very clear. There's nobody, at least in my chat, saying let's bring Clayton Tune in. No, that, at least I'm not saying that. I can't speak for everybody, but there's no let's bring in Clayton Tune. You're stuck with Kyler Murray right now. Now we're probably going to be stuck with him in 2025 as well. But that's a feeling you don't want to have with your franchise quarterback, that you're stuck with him. We've never won the NFC West. We've never had a big game won by Kyler Murray, and it's just been one of these things that we're seeing a constant reoccurring and over and over and over again. And for the people out there that want to bring in the second year of rebuild, I think it's bogus. I really do. Now, can we win 7-8 games? Yeah, we potentially can be, and I think we will all kind of recover. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that Kyler Murray will ever win us a Super Bowl. I don't think he will ever win us the NFC West. And at the end of the day, what are we doing here, right? Because he's getting paid top tier money to shrink in big moments. And honestly, I'm just to kind of the point where I guess I'll support whatever it is. I'm going to be watching this remaining 4 games here, but like we're cooked. We're done. This season it's done, because of the performance of this Arizona Cardinal offense that just can't get it right. To me, I think Drew Petzing does have some blame to it, but I'm not going to come out here and say fire Drew Petzing after 1 freaking year when we give this guy 6 years and we're still making up excuses over and over and over and over again. I'm tired of the excuses. I would rather take Drew Petzing right now over than I was going to say Cliff Kingsbury. Kyler Murray. Truly, right now, I'm done. I'm done with Kyler Murray. He's not going to win in those big games for me, and why do we have him as a franchise?
I mean, that's a hot take, but I mean, that's kind of the discussion right now that everybody's having. And I mean, it's kind of an understandable topic. And I'm a Kyler Murray defender. I still believe in Kyler. I think we need to see what happens when we invest in this team. Not only offensive line, we need defensive line. If you watch the Seattle game, we got dominated in the trenches. Their D-line killed us. How many holding calls have we had, do you think, in the past 3 games that have just negated so many drives? Just Paris Johnson picking up hold after hold after hold. Evan Brown, throw hold. Like, just so many drive-killing penalties where we'll pile off like a 6-yard run to make it 1st and 10 to 2nd and 4. But instead, we're looking at 1st and 20, and then Drew Petzing, being Drew Petzing, runs the ball, and it'll be like 2nd and 18. And now we're faced with just terrible situations.
But
like, there's a lot going wrong. And then Kyler Murray, also, just, it doesn't seem like there's like a level of comfortability here. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, for some reason, there's like a little bit of a problem, but then it's just like the whole thing seems off, if that makes sense. Like, offensive coordinator, Kyler, offensive line, like, there's just problems that should not be happening. And then Zach Charbonnet running for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns on the defense that has been standing tall. We held the Seattle team to 16 points, and one of those came to Kyler Murray. Their touchdowns. They had a Geno Smith touchdown, and then we had a pick 6, and that was it. And it's just the inconsistency of both sides of the ball have killed us time in and time out. When we play complementary football and this team plays together, I really, it's like when we're hot, when we're cold. And that goes for both sides of the ball. That is unacceptable, and money needs to be spent. And if Michael Bidwell does not open this pocketbook next offseason, I think every single Cardinals fans in the world, because we have Kyler Murray regardless, that is going to be 2025's future. Now, what's past that, who knows? I like Kyler, think we can win with them. But if we don't open the pocketbooks, we're just going to be spinning this same broken record. Like, if we keep taking the draft route, don't invest, don't get free agents, where's our floor? Where's our ceiling? Like, we don't know. We're just going to repeat the same season as we're having right now, just with rookie talent. And that's not somewhere I want to be. So if we can't open the pocketbooks, we're going to be sitting in the same position we're in right now. And Seattle is a way better team than I thought they were. I'm going to keep it very honest. Did not think they were capable of beating us twice. Didn't think their D-line was going to be able to wreck the game like they did. Didn't think their offensive line was going to be able to block for Zach Charbonnet like that. They have not had a good run game all season long, but they came into this game when it mattered the most, and they just played their best game in terms of running the football. They controlled everything. They dominated us in every single aspect this game, and Kyler Murray, I feel like he played a good second half of that game, but throwing back-to-back picks consecutively, which is something he's never done in his whole career in a game that matters the most, hurt so bad. Because after that first drive, it was on. Like, it was 7-3. We're like, okay, we're here. This is a home game. We got all momentum. And then those back-to-back picks just hurt. And it doesn't help that the defense lets up in one play or 1 or 2 plays on the corner route for a touchdown. Like, that just felt like so demoralizing. The pick, touchdown, pick. And it's just like, oh my God, this is the Arizona Cardinals, man. And it's been the Arizona Cardinals since I've been alive. Every big moment we have shrunk. We made it to the NFC Championship one time, and it's because we won one game. Carson Palmer didn't look great in that either. And then they choked against the Panthers, and it's just been continuous choke after choke for decades now. I think all Cardinals fans are just expecting better, and we have not gotten that, even in our brightest moments.
Yeah, well, that's what kind of goes back to the same circle, right? And I get we're going to be investing, or at least I hope we're going to be investing in this team, specifically defensively. We got a lot of money. Let's see what happens. But at the end of the day, I mean, Monty Alcifor is going to be the one making these decisions, and he hasn't had the best free agency class. So in order for me to be very, very confident, I mean, let's just see what happens here at the end of the day. But Monty so far is really good at drafting. We haven't really seen a good trade from him. We haven't really seen a good free agency class from him other than Mack Wilson Sr. and Kazir White's probably the only ones that stick out to me because everybody else unfortunately got hurt. We haven't really seen very much. So let's see what we do with this $90+ million. But I mean, I feel like we're just going to be right back in the same situation. Like if Geno Smith is winning you games and potentially another NFC West championship because he might win a win. I hate living in a world that I have more confidence in Geno Smith at the tail end than our own franchise quarterback in Kyler.
It's not a good spot to be in. That is not a good spot to be in. I mean, I think we'll be fine, but it just, again, depends on what happens. If ownership is willing to have Monty Alcifor go out there and actually be able to spend his paycheck, then we're probably going to be in a lot better position. Is that going to happen? I'm not sure. Because I've seen so many great free agents walk right out of this door. And we have gotten nothing in return. Are we going to be able to bring people in here? Can we convince people that Arizona is the place to be? That's another question. I mean, if the money's right, the money's right. I'm also going to pitch another idea because I think this is also a huge problem for the Arizona Cardinals offensively is third downs. Third down situation, we are horrendous. I think we are number 27 in the league at third down conversion percent. We need help. There's no separation from our receivers on third down whatsoever. Everybody is completely blanketed. I watched NFL Pro with the third down, nothing. People aren't afraid to send the house at us. And even if that's the case, we're probably going to pick up a hold. Like something, like they're not afraid to attack us. Like, okay, cool. We can run cover 1, cover 0, and trust that our guys are going to be able to lock up. That is not a good position to be in. Do you think we need a wide receiver too? Do you think Greg Dortch, for example, this is where I would love to be. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver 1, bring in a wide receiver 2, like it doesn't have to be T. Higgins, but I'm going to use him for example, just somebody who can separate, somebody who can make a contested catch, somebody who can come in here and give you production alongside him and move Michael Wilson to the slot because I love Michael Wilson's game too.
Yeah.
Do you think we need help? Because Trey McBride also, I still think is one of the best tight ends in the league, top 3. Do you think we need another receiver? But I think defense is the way to go. But do you think we need a like legit wide receiver threat alongside Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I was asked this question about 3 weeks ago, and I was saying to myself, no, I think what we should really think about is defense. But honestly, at this point, anything's open. I'm cool with anything, honestly. And the whole separation thing, I don't believe in it. That there's plays to be made on the field. I don't believe in it.
I mean, there's definitely plays to be made, but you can't sit here on third down with a 1-on-1 and not be able to.
You also can't throw the ball 3rd and 2 to a home run ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. That's blanketed. You can't do that. You can't do that, Kyler Murray. You can't do that. And that's the same thing we're saying over and over again from Kyler Murray. Over and over again. I'm tired of him. I'm sick of talking about him. I really am.
I mean, we'll see what happens going forward, but it's a very interesting topic because Kyler will be our quarterback, and the fan base has always been teeter-totter, but like you're saying, I've seen some activists or Kyler Murray believers at least open their eyes. I mean, I feel like I've been here, but then his play has been very solid to me. These 3-game stretch, can't say that. Like, that's just me being a absolute realist. I can't sit here and say that these last 3 games have been anything short of absolutely disappointing. The Minnesota game, I think, was his best performance, but back-to-back in Seattle, I feel like those are just absolute stinkers, and these are games that we need to go 1-1.
Packers was terrible.
Commanders was bad, but Seahawks was bad. So there's been like 4 bad games. That Lions one, I still think was the worst game of the season. I literally felt like I was watching Madden. It felt like it was just aggressive catch, prayer to God, hope it gets answered. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. also wasn't helping because even in the chances that he had and got his hands on the ball, he didn't come down with them. but like it's just not high offense. And it feels like that was their plan of attack. Is Drew Petzing was like, hey, we're going after Arnold right now, rookie corner, just attack him. That's the game plan. We're just throwing 50-50 balls, but it wasn't working. So like at some point you think they'd audible, and we had every hope of faith to come back in that game. Detroit had 20 points, a team that was scoring 40 and 50 later on in the season, and we held them to 20 and couldn't get it done. I think we got shut out in the second half, if I'm not mistaken, or we had a field goal at the very end. It was one of the two. But like you gotta be better. And then the Bills game, we were in that, and then the kick return, we were in that. Like it just a lot of things have gone wrong this season, and I've been saying it. I know you touched on it earlier, but I've been saying this is a 3-year thing. And if we can get 8 to 9, I still think it is a positive season at the end of the day. But it sucks knowing that we had a chance. That's what hurts the most, is that the NFC has been disappointing so bad. Who would have thought that we would have sat in the NFC? The NFC South was basically just absolute useless. Like, they're 6-6. Their best team is 6-6. So, or 7-6, I believe, and it's Tampa Bay. But the, what is it? AFC, or the NFC North has 3 playoff teams. Ridiculous. The Cardinals had this in the bag 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, before we were playing Seattle the first game. Had it in the bag. If we win one of these games, and even if we drop both to Seattle, let's just say we win Minnesota, we're 7-6. Yeah. That's a good position to be in. You're right there with the Rams. You're still number 2 in the NFC West. We'll take that, right? And then it's like, okay, cool. We're not completely out of this, but right now we're completely out of it. It sucks. But it's just, like, I don't even know. Like, it's just a bad position to be in, because there was, like, that hope, and that's kind of what it feels like to be a Cardinals fan, is there is that hope, and then it gets shot right down in the face. And we've had that every single year dating back to, 2009, when we got Kurt Warner in the, like, it feels like it's just every glimmer of hope in the biggest moment possible, we have collapsed. And I can name time and time again, we touched on it earlier, like, we've had 2021, 2015, 2009, like, when are we going to get some relevancy that is consistent? I think next year will be the year, but you'd be crazy not to be like, hey, at least my eyes are open right now to, like, potentially pivoting. It's not going to be next year, but you're crazy if you don't think your eyes are going to be open. Because, like, I think he's still somebody you can win with, but you'd be insane not to be like, okay,
let me ask you
we haven't won a big game. It's probably time to open your eyes. Win what?
Win what?
A Super Bowl.
You can win the Super Bowls with Kyler, you said?
I think so. I think if the right team is around him, you definitely can. But, I mean, he has to be consistent. I think we can all agree. Consistency has to happen, and that's not just for Kyler. That's his whole team. Because when all was lost and you throw those 2 interceptions, that sucks, right? I personally, my pie chart in this was Kyler gets 55-60% of the blame for this game. Fair. I think I like 55 because those 2 picks really killed it, and Seattle ran up a lead very early on. Mm-hmm. But we started coming back. It was, 27-18, right? And we had a chance to put 3 on the board right there.
With Chad Ryland.
And this is something I've also been saying. I want your opinion on this too while you're here. You can't miss that field goal. That is a 40-yard field goal. In the NFL, a chip shot. And Chad Ryland has the most misses with inside 50 yards in the NFL in the past, 3 years, I believe. That's unacceptable. And yes, he did come in here and he did kick some chip shot game winners for 20, 30, 20 yards. Like, great. Don't get me wrong, but I've been preaching this ever since 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when Matt Prater's name resurfaced. Do you think he should come back if healthy? I think he's still the option. Prater? Even next year. Yeah, Prater. I like Chad Ryland and what he brings somewhat. Yeah. Because the misses are inexcusable, and they've come and come and come. But the game winners, I feel like, have everybody kind of just a little too high on optimism with him.
That's fair.
I think Matt Prater is still that guy.
Yeah, I mean...
Because the consistency you'll get with him is way more than you'll get with Chad Ryland, even at 40 years old.
That's what I was going to say. How old is he? I mean,
38,
it depends on
39.
if he wants to come back. I mean, he's going to be 41 next year? So, I don't know. I mean, it just really depends if he's... I know I saw something out there that he was 40. Going, didn't he get, surgery or something
He did get an operation done, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it just really depends. I mean, if he comes back, cool. I'm willing to bring him back. But, I mean, if he doesn't, then I understand. I mean, retirement's probably better than playing it for a team that I don't think has hope with Kyler Murray. So we'll see.
Hey, I mean, if the option's there and Matt Prater's like, hey, I would like to come back, and you're the Cardinals GM, you're Monty Austin for it, and you have Chad Ryland or Matt Prater, what are you doing long term? Is
Yeah,
Chad
I mean, if
Ryland a
Matt,
practice squad guy and you're just bringing Matt Prater
yeah,
back and that's just what it
pretty much.
is?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
yeah,
Blake Gillikin went down, and Chad Ryland punting was
Yeah.
egregious too.
yeah. That was terrible.
That was not good whatsoever. So these last 4 games, we have, in my opinion, at least 3 games we should win, at the very minimum. It's going to be one of the division games, and if we should win against the Patriots and the Panthers. Are you in the same boat? Because the Cardinals have taken care of the bad opponents.
You better hope we beat both of them. You better hope we beat both of them. I'm talking about the Panthers and the Patriots. If not, it's gonna get worse, man.
It will definitely get worse. But what do you think we close out the season in those 4 games? So first
To be
we
honest with you,
have
right now,
Patriots,
I'm so
Rams,
demoralized
Panthers,
with this
49ers.
Cardinals team and this offense, the not being able to get it right. And it's not just Kyler; it's the whole offense, right, including Drew Petzing. They have not shown me enough to be confident moving forward. So to be honest with you, I don't even want to give a prediction. I want to just let the dominoes fall the way it is, and whatever happens, happens. To be honest with you, I'm that demoralized with this team right now. Like, it's that bad.
That is crazy. It's just the whole fan base feels like that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or at least like 75% of the fan base, I would say, feels like that. Not a good spot to be in.
Yeah.
I feel like we all agree that the pocketbooks need to be open next year. And if it doesn't happen, that's kind of where everything's going to start blowing up in Michael Bidwell's face. And he's going to see that. You're doing all these renovations and all this for the new stadium or whatever, and you're trying to bring all these celebrities here, and you're trying to bring all the top market people. It's time to get some top-end talent. Through the draft, through free agency, it's time. You have a quarterback going into year 7 where people are teeter-tottering right now, and if you're going to make a decision right now, you're going to have to make it when talent's here and when we can actually go all in. And if you can't get it done with talent here, then that's a conversation going into 2026 where people are saying it's loaded, where there's potentially like an Arch Manning, I believe, in the draft class, where then you can make that decision. But next year, you need to go all in. You have everything completely wiped off our books, every contract, every salary, expiring deals. It's time. But this year's not over technically. I mean, I believe we have like a 5% chance to make the playoffs. It's not a ton. Everything is going to have to go right, like legitimately. The Rams are going to have to go 1-3. Seattle's going to have to go 1-3, potentially 0-4, and we're going to have to win out. That's the situation we're in right now. Seattle has to go 9-7 or 9-6, right? No.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No.
Right?
They have 9 wins.
9-7, right?
9-8?
9-8.
17
No,
games.
that's 16 games.
9-8.
No, you're right. 9-8. Yeah.
So they have to go 9-8, and we have to go 10-7, and then the Rams have to go 9-7, which is 2 wins at the max. I can't see a world that happens. We needed to get one of these against Seattle. Dropped it 6-16 and 18-30. Just a bad spot to be in.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Not a good
terrible.
spot, man. Not a good spot at all.
Absolutely terrible. But you guys let us know down in the comment section below how you guys are feeling about this loss. I know we've been touching on it a lot, but it is a topic of conversation that needs to be brought up right now. I mean, you guys know we've talked about Kyler. My opinion on that, I wanted to get a new perspective. You guys said Mike was going crazy. Wanted to see what he was talking about firsthand. But, like, it's a conversation that does need to be talked about. Like, if your eyes aren't open at the very minimum, then that is a problem. But you can still back him all you want. You can hate him all you want. We're fans of this team at the end of the day. Want the same goal. That is a Super Bowl. Nothing is changing there. I think we can all agree, whether you're a Kyler hater, Kyler activist, Cardinals hater, Cardinals activist. No matter what you are, if you're a fan of this team or a fan of this organization, want them to go in the right way and want them to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have conversations week in and week out, and no one's going to agree 100%. But appreciate you hopping on the channel, Mike.
Sure,
where can they find you?
Everything at the AZ Sports Fan, Twitter, X, so that's the same thing. YouTube and Instagram, pretty much the AZ Sports Fan everywhere.
Go ahead and check him out. I'm sure you guys will show him some love or some hate. I mean, tis the season. Tis the season. He wants it. Bring it on. Same for me. Bring it on, whether it is. You guys know where I stand. But appreciate you hopping on, man. It has been Mythic and Mike. Peace out.